Hi folks, and Céad Míle Fáilte. This is
the navigation.
where I'll be going on a weekly basis through all the most popular devices, doing the reviews, giving you my pros and cons of each one, so you know exactly which one is the best for you. First of all, and like always, a quick disclaimer that all the products that you'll see on these reviews have been sent to me for me to test and review. If you use the links down below and the coupon codes, I might get a little bit of a commission out of it. Help a brother out, right? Now, having said that, everything that I say on this video is my own personal and honest opinion, right? I'll give you all the good stuff and the bad stuff and make your own decision, right, based on my own personal experience. And now, without further ado, let's dive into it. Today, we got the brand new INNOVV N2. INNOVV is a well-known brand for doing dash cams and all that kind of jazz, right? So now they came up with this new navigator. It's of course an Android and Apple CarPlay compatible device, 6.5 inches, and it connects straight to your knob prep, so you can control it with your Wonderwheel. So let's have a look. So there you have it. That's the INNOVV N2. Very nice box, actually. The materials and everything feel pretty premium. It has a little bit of a magnet event on this. I know it's silly to talk about the box itself, but you can tell that this device has been made with really good quality. So you have this as a presentation, the device itself. Again, really good quality. It actually feels, heavy, right? It's quality. This is kind of, it's not plasticky, it's kind of metal, so it is really good quality. Of course, here you have your slot for the SD card, knob prep mount, of course. And like I mentioned on the intro, this is 6.5 inches, which is interesting because most companies will do either 6 or 7 inches. So having a 6.5 is somewhere in between, not too big, not too small. So I think they might be into something there, right? You know me, I think that most of the 7 inches are a little bit too big. This one with 6.5, I think it looks really good. Also, another thing that I really like about this device is how slim it is, right? So it doesn't protrude too much out of the knob prep, right? So overall, really good start, amazing quality. Like I said, it doesn't feel plasticky. It feels really sturdy, and actually it does have a bit of weight to it, right? Which is not a bad thing. It means that it's made really well. Then inside the box, you have your screwdriver to open up the SD card slot. And then below that, you have your instruction, your user manual, which I think is really good, actually, very well made. It's huge pictures, very nice letters, and you have all the basics, right? So obviously you came to this video, so you don't have to read this, but shout out to INNOVV, very good quality on that as well. Last but not least, at the bottom, I do have a screen protector, right, to install. It feels like glass, proper quality screen protector. So if you're interested, you can also order that from their website. If you've been following the Navigation War series, you've probably seen this a million times, but for those that are new to the channel, first of all, welcome. And then in order to install the device into your navigation preparation, it could not be easier. Just turn the key to open up the device, and then you have to pull this lever to the side just to make sure that the whole thing is unlocked. Then on the device itself, you do have 2 notches on top and then one big one at the bottom. So you have to align the one at the bottom with the bottom, of course, of the knob prep, and then it just clicks in place. Once that is in place, push the tab, lock it in, that's it, that's the device installed. Here you can see the device installed onto the bike, and like I mentioned before, see how low profile the device is? That is actually something that newer devices started to do, and I love it. It makes the whole thing look a lot more compact, and I think it fits the bike very nicely. All right, once we're mounted on the bike, let's turn on the bike and see how long it takes to actually boot up. So straight away, you probably noticed that the device itself looks exactly the same as the TFT, right? It does give you like lean angle, water temp, and the tire pressure right on the same menu. But to me, I think it's an interesting design choice, right? Where In some other devices, you do have at least a different look, right? And you can have some other information or maybe focusing on tire pressure, stuff like that. In this case, I think it looks exactly the same, and I don't understand why do we want the same information. All right, folks, Future Gaucho here. And just to give you an update, that I'm happy to report that INNOVV actually listened to the customers, and they've done a newer update that was just released just in time before I actually released this video, so right in time. And I'm happy to report that yes, they have updated, and now you have more dashboards to select from. So obviously you still have this one, which is exactly the same copy as your 1300 TFT, but then after you do the update, you go into the settings, go to about, and now you have 4 additional new dashboards. So you have exactly the same one as before, and then you have this one, which I do like. It's quite nice design and everything, right, with the shape on top and everything. I think it looks very smart. Then you have this one, which might be one of my favorites, right? I do like the 2 dashes. Same information, right, but with a different design, different layout. And then you have 2 for the ones that love the white backgrounds, right? Obviously, this will be a lot brighter during the day, right, on a sunny day. And then finally, you have this one with the white background. Brilliant stuff from INNOVV, listening to the customers. That to me, it says a lot about a company, right, when they go back and do an update. So kudos to them. Everything else works just fine. So let's continue with the regular review. But I just want to call this out that they did listen and they have updated the dashboard. So let's get right back to the review. So now to control the whole thing with the Wonderwheel, of course, like always, you just press and hold menu up, and you'll see the option here switching from TFT to nav. So that's perfect. Obviously now I'm on the Wonderwheel, and you can choose CarPlay, Android Auto. You have this option to kind of turn off the screen and then turn it back on right when you touch it. You have your brightness there that you can control. In terms of brightness, I think the screen is plenty of bright. I think they say that this one has 800 nits, but I've had no issues using it outside on broad daylight. I think it looks pretty good. This type of design I do really like. It's simple, it's very classy, it's very sharp, all the menus and everything, right? If you go into settings, you have, all the basic settings and everything, but I do think that this looks very well. You, of course, can control it with the Wonderwheel, no problem whatsoever. Up and down, you will flick through the menus. And if you want to, for example, choose time and date, you click the Wonderwheel to the right, and then you're into the menu, right? When you see the arrow on the top, click to the right again to, activate that arrow back, and you are back to the previous menu. In terms of settings, the device itself is pretty much no frills, right? It does have kind of the basic stuff. Language, time of date, time zone, factory reset, the units, where you can choose obviously speed, temperature, and pressure between metric and imperial. And then the about, which will show you kind of the serial number, firmware version, that kind of stuff. But you probably noticed that it doesn't have any type of Bluetooth or connection settings, right? So if you want to connect your headset to this device, you'll have to use your phone or the TFT. And for that type of stuff, I would recommend my own video, right, on how to properly connect your devices. On this case, it did call my attention because most navigator devices will actually offer you the option of connecting the headset straight to the device and use it as a hub, which would be my recommendation in most cases. But in this case, unfortunately, they don't offer that option. Also, it doesn't have a Wi-Fi option to download any firmware or anything. So if you want to do that, you will have to do it with your SD card. Now, I don't think that's a big deal unless you do have an issue. And if you have an issue, following the steps of copying the firmware version to the SD card and then plugging it in, I don't think it's too difficult. That's something to call out, but I don't think it's a problem with this device. And again, if you don't have any issues, then there's no need to upgrade the firmware or anything like that, right? If you go back, then there's a nice little shortcut where if you press menu up, don't press and hold it, just press it up. Then you can flick through the different screens, right? And in this case, I'll go straight into Android Auto. Once inside Android Auto, I think the whole thing is pretty responsive, right? It looks pretty sharp. The colors and everything look pretty nice. Then, of course, you can navigate with the Wonderwheel going up and down, right? You see there the whole thing flicking through the menus. And then one thing that some devices struggle with is switching from the main application, right, in this case, Google Maps, to your, what I call the application drawer, right, the black bar on the right-hand side. In this case, the implementation I think is very sweet. If you click the Wonderwheel to the left, boom, that's it, easy as that. Now I'm on my application drawers, and then if I click to the right on, let's say, YouTube Music, I can swap very quickly, right, to the music there and control the music from there. If you want to go back, click to the left again, and I'm on my application drawer once again. Click to the right, select Google Maps, boom, that's it. So I think that implementation is very, very good, very intuitive, right? Just press to the left, you go back from the main screen to the application drawer. Very easy to control, and I think that one works really, really well. And again, if you want to go to your dashboard for whatever reason, or to your settings, press menu up, and you switch very quickly, right? I love that shortcut. When they implement proper shortcuts with the Wonderwheel and everything, I think that is beautiful. And in this case, it works really seamless, and it's very easy to understand and learn how to navigate the whole thing with the Wonderwheel, right? Now, the next test to do is what happens when you turn on the bike, right? Because you could be sitting down, you know, on a petrol station or something like that, setting up your navigation, and some devices, when you crank on the bike, the device will flick or shut off, right? And then you have to wait until the whole thing boots up again. So let's try that, see what happens when I crank on the bike while I'm navigating, right? As you can see there on the screen, I do have a navigation on. Obviously, I'm zoomed out, so you don't see where I live, that for obvious reasons, right? But let's crank on the bike and see what happens. There you go, no issues there. So this device has a supercapacitor inside, so it will actually hold power. So if you do, you know, if you crank on the bike or shut it off, it will hold the power on the device for a few seconds, right? So it doesn't do that and keeps navigating, no problem whatsoever, right? So I think that implementation is very nice, and you have no issues whatsoever. The other test is what happens when you turn off the bike, right? So let's say you go into a shop or something like that, turn it off. The bike is now off, and as you can see, the whole thing doesn't shut off immediately. It does tell you now the power is about to turn off, and after a few seconds, I'll time it on the video and let you know exactly how long it takes. So there you go, now the screen is completely off, no issues whatsoever. Now let's say that you stop for fuel, and now you want to turn on the bike back on. See if it'll go back to navigation. So there you go, after you turn on the bike back again, it goes back into the navigation, it resumes right on what it was doing, so no problem whatsoever. It actually connected in a few seconds. Unfortunately, every time it connects to Android Auto, it disconnects my phones or stops recording, so I can't show you the whole transition, but trust me, whenever you turn the bike back on, the navigation resumes, no problem whatsoever. So I think that is a proper solution, and the implementation is really, really good. So there you have, folks, that's the INNOVV N2. The whole thing feels premium, very good quality, right, from the box to the device itself, right? It doesn't feel plasticky or anything like that. The build quality is where this device actually makes the difference, right? After that, it's pretty much, like I said on the video, no thrills type of device, right? It's just purely a connect and go, right? Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, whatever you use, and those work fantastic. Wonderwheel implementation, spot on, the shortcuts and everything, you can control the whole device, no problem whatsoever. So definitely want to consider, have it on your shortlist, compared to other devices right throughout my navigation wars. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, links in the description down below for your discount, and of course help me out with a little bit of a commission, right, if you choose to go for this device. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you folks on the next one. Thanks.